you doing? This is Coffee Break with Jimmy. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about immigration and how immigration did in the 40s and 50s, and I talked a little bit about the 80s when they had they actually had Ronald Reagan. Let me see what it was, and he offered amnesty to a lot of people that had been here for a while, mainly farm workers, people that have been here for a number of years, have done a lot of farm working. And some people I spoke about it yesterday, some people I actually knew. But the immigration really started, the Immigration Act really actually started back in 1891, the Federal Immigration Act. This is when Ellis Island was opened, and they started coming through Ellis Island, checking them for different diseases, different ailments, making sure when they came here. And I remember, my grandparents talking about it, how when they came here, they had to have a sponsor, and the sponsor here had a job waiting for them. They were able to take care of themselves and support themselves. They weren't supported by the country. So this was something that was started in 1891. Like I said, that's when, I didn't really know that's when Ellis Island opened, but that's when it opened. And immigration, I mean, we are a nation of immigrants, right? We've come from other countries, all of us have, all of our forefathers have. So when you think about that, and I talked a little bit about that when I talked about this naturalization, being born here in the United States and being a naturalized citizen. I talked a little bit about my uncle, how my uncle came over here, and then when he was a little kid, he was born here, and he went back to the Azores Islands, and he came back here. And because his parents were here, and because back then you were able to become a citizen by, you go through Ellis Island, or ports of entry, and you would do different things and you would apply for citizenship or a work visa to work here for however long you're going to do or how long you're going to be here. And then you apply for different things to become citizens. You'd have to go through, some schooling to learn about the Constitution. And so all that stuff was all done back in those days. It wasn't actually like immigration is today. It was done a little bit different. In fact, today is a lot different, largely because of 9/11. I spoke about that yesterday. But the Immigration and Naturalization Act started in 1891, and then I didn't talk. I talked about the 50s and the 40s yesterday, and of course the 70s and 80s about the when they had. Let's see where it says that here. Oh, amnesty, that actually President Reagan offered amnesty to a lot of people that had been here for some time, lived here for a long time, worked here for a long time, and so that was offered then. But in 2000, after 9/11, this is security dominated. The Homeland Security Act of 2002 dismantled the old INS. That's why you can remember hearing about the INS, and this is when DHS, Department of Homeland Security. That's when this was created. Okay, so Department of Homeland Security, and this is when ICE came in, when they developed ICE to go out and get immigrants, illegal immigrants, and this is. And then the polarization grew during Obama, and Obama used executive orders for DACA in 2012, for childhood arrivals, DAPA attempts, blocked, and then Trump in 2017 and 2021 imposed travel bans for several Muslim majority countries, reduced refugees admissions sharply to historic lows, expanded enforcement, deportations, and attempted wall construction for the programs like TPS and DACA. Congress saw failed bipartisan efforts, and a Senate bill stalled in the House. So this all happened during that period. And then, of course, when Biden was elected in 2020, he opened the door for higher immigration, higher refugees. 20, 25 million, I don't know what the numbers are. They say, sometimes they say 15 million, some say 20, 25 million. But this is all done for votes, okay? And this is what I really, I talked a little bit about the SAVE Act yesterday. And the SAVE Act has to pass. We have to, it already passed the House, so now it's in front of the Senate now. And of course, they'll try to stop it, and because they only have 51 votes. So, but they're supposed to be voting on that here pretty soon. And so the SAVE Act has to pass. We have to have federal identifications. Like even California, they offer identifications to illegal aliens here to have driver's license. And in some places, and I don't know about all California, but a lot of places in California, well, they're actually able to allow these people to vote. And that's what hurts us in our voting here, especially here in California. And they just did the gerrymandering, and that's of course has to do with federal voting, has to do with the House of Representatives. But there's this gal here that and I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday or not, but I don't know her first name, but her last name is Rahman, and she's part of this LA City Council. And 3 days prior to the last day to register to run for the mayor for Los Angeles, she submitted her name 3 days with 3 days left over. Well, this Rahman, apparently she's a Democratic Socialist. And she's got the same group that actually got Zohan Mamdani elected in New York. So New York's got a Democrat Socialist mayor. Now they're going to try to get this Rahman lady. I don't know much about her. In fact, I tried to look up as much as I could about her. Not just, on city council, she hasn't really done that much to really. She hadn't got her name out there. She hadn't, I haven't seen her. I've seen any news I haven't seen her in any podcasts or anything, so I don't even know what she looks like. But apparently, she's going to be running for mayor for the city of Los Angeles, and she's going to be running against Karen Bass. Now, Karen Bass right now is not a very popular person in California because of Pacific Palisades burning down, Altadena burning down, and a lot of people blame that on her, and of course, Gavin Newsom, he tries to wash his hands with that, but he's partly to blame for that. Something else I want to talk about Gavin Newsom too. Because he's gonna want to run for president in 2028. And America, please look what he's done to California. Do not vote for Gavin Newsom. But we'll talk about that in a second. But this Rahman, I don't know much about her, but they have a Democrat Socialist mayor in New York, and I believe there's one in Seattle. And this is where they're going to start doing it. I mean, the Muslim countries, the Muslim people are pushing this. They're trying to push this socialism in here, where and no offense to the Gen Zers, I think it's the Gen Zers, the younger ones, are going to be voting now. They don't know much about September 11th. They don't know about what happened there. They don't know about the people that actually flew the airplanes into the towers and into the Pentagon. And because of that, they're not up on the history on that, and they have to know about it. I talk about it every once in a while. I've talked about a few things about that, and because I've been around a little bit, so I got a little bit of knowledge. Not that I know everything, but I have a little bit of knowledge, and I have my opinions on different things. But they need to know more information about that before they go voting for another socialist mayor. And well, look what Zohan Mamdani is looking, what he's doing in New York. Not looking too good over there, okay? In fact, a lot of the things that he said he was going to do, he had to back off because he figured that he had to have the governor of New York and also some help from the president of the United States. And so he can't do some of the things that he planned on doing. But this is what they're going to do. They're going to start running for mayors. And then before they're going to be running for governors, and they're going to start trying to run for the president of the United States. And we can't have this. I mean, come on. Zohan Mondami, when he came in to be the mayor of New York, he actually pledged, instead of putting his hand on the Bible, said he pledged his allegiance to being the mayor of, and whatever they do in New York, and for the mayor. He swore on the Quran instead of the Bible. Now, really, you don't have to swear on anything. Just put your hand up in the air and swear your allegiance. But just having his hand on the Quran, this is the United States. We don't have Sharia law here. This isn't, the Middle East. Okay, this is the United States. And so we have to, any of you, if you know of anything, please let me know, because I don't know much about this ramen. The only thing I know is easy to remember because I taught ramen noodles. That's how I remember her name. But anyhow, you got to look into that, because that right there, and if we can pass the SAVE Act, or we have federal identification for everyone, and it's not that hard to get it. They keep saying this is, even Chuck Schumer. If you go back 30 years, Chuck Schumer, he was big on identification for voting. He was big. Almost everything that he did 30, 35 years ago is reversed. It's got total flip-flop on everything. And then, the Democrat Party really don't know which way they're going. Look at what happened, what AOC did in Munich. She couldn't even answer a simple question about China invading Taiwan, and she couldn't. Just a simple thing. Yeah, we're going to back up Taiwan. We always have. That's been the policy for the United States. And if we have to do whatever we have to do, we're going to back up Taiwan. We're not going to allow China to invade Taiwan. And there's a lot of things going on. Just a lot of stuff that's going on that's going on in. I'm sorry, my phone just went off. You heard that's the halls of Montezuma. That's my ringer. Anyway, what's going on in Iran? They're talking right now. They're talking about what's happening over there. And Trump said they want to make a deal. Well, we'll have to wait and see. And but there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, and but we have to worry about what's going on here domestically, here at home. We have to get this SAVE Act passed, so we have real voting. We have to have legal voting, and to get the right people in office. And I think if we do, we're not going to have to worry about the gerrymandering here in California. I think other states they will vote for the right people to get the House of Representatives back and get the Senate back, because if they don't, if we lose the House, right away they're going to try to impeach Trump, and they're going to destroy his last 2 years in office by doing this. If in fact they do get the House of Representatives, but they just can't do it. This guy is doing such a good job for all of us, not just us Republicans, for all of us, Democrats, Independents alike. And everything's starting to come back. The price will never get all the way back down like it was in 2017, but the price can be lowered, because Obama screwed our country up in the last 4 years, and he let in 25 million unvetted people, and I'm sure they're gonna try to get these guys to vote I believe that's what happened, how Zohan Mondami got elected. I think he had a bunch of illegal votes there also. But in California, they've been bad about this forever, for harvesting the votes. And if that happens here in California, we'll probably get this ramen lady, whoever she is. She'll probably get voted in. We'll have a socialist mayor in Los Angeles, and this is where it's going to start. It's going to be viral. It just spread after that. So we have to stop it now. And America, we have to stop it now. Keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and vote. Please vote. It's something that needs to be done. So, but anyhow, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this probably tomorrow. And I want to talk a little bit more about other stuff that I missed out on the last couple of weeks because I was sick. I think I told you that yesterday. But we have a lot to do, and we'll see what happens in Iran. We'll see what's how that's now. Iran's really trying to stretch that out a little bit. They're trying to give it a couple more weeks before they come back, and I think they're just trying to postpone the inevitable. But we have to work on the SAVE Act. Talk to everybody. Talk to your congressman. Talk to everybody that you know. We have to pass a SAVE Act, and so that we can have legal, honest voting. So anyway, please subscribe to my channel, and I need all the subscribers I can get. But subscribe to my channel, and especially you young Gen Zers, please. Maybe you can learn. I'm not an educator, but maybe there's something I've learned, or maybe something I've done that make you go, think about it, and maybe kind of enlighten you just a little bit about what's going on. Think about this ramen lady and what's going to happen in Los Angeles if we get a Democratic socialist mayor in Los Angeles. Think about that. And so I'll see you next time on Coffee Break with Jimmy. Please subscribe, press the like button, and share, and that notification bell. And I will see you next time on Coffee Break with Jimmy.